Hello, 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 hello. So I hope we are live, and please, please, please tell me that you can see me and you can hear me, because all these technical things, they're a bit frustrating. So I'm welcoming everybody, and if you are listening, if you are watching, so please say hello and write your hello, and please tell us where you are and what's going on. So I have just finished my cup of tea, and I'm ready to tell you about the small talk. And first of all, just a couple of words before we start about myself. I hope you all know me. I hope you all have met me. My name is Daria Starozhilova. I'm an English teacher, and I teach mostly communication trainings and business courses. So I work with adults, and in this case, we always have this problem, and we always have this question. So with all the knowledge which we have collected, because if we are not beginners, we have some knowledge. Yes, we know how to make basic sentences. We know how to, we know some words and vocabulary. But the problem is that we can't talk. We are afraid to talk. We don't know what to say. We get lost. We feel like idiots. I don't know. I really disagree. It's true, but this is what most of the English learners describe to me when we talk with adults about speaking skills. So one of the biggest problems we can say, so how to talk to strangers. And differently from many cultures, differently from speakers of many languages, we see this, I can say, peculiarity, this feature of the English-speaking culture. It is this so-called small talk. So what is it? And we will discuss it today, because it is very, very important. And it's very important in two ways. First, it can help you improve your speaking skills for more serious projects in the future. So it prepares you for negotiations, it prepares you for communication, for making friends, I don't know, for traveling. And secondly, it is also it teaches you communication skills, basically, and it is also a demonstration of how well you know the English-speaking culture, because it does matter, you know. And this is a cultural thing again. So because many people often ask, how do I become fluent? How many words I need to know to become fluent? And I don't know, what kind of grammar I need to study to become fluent. You can become fluent when you do two things. The first thing, you are confident when you speak to people. So this is the first feature of fluency, that you are not, maybe somewhere deep inside you are afraid, but generally you don't demonstrate that you are afraid. Okay, this is the first thing. And the second thing, you know how native speakers behave and speak. Yeah, so this is a lot of cultural features. You need to know a lot of things which are connected to the basic cultural knowledge which native speakers receive when they learn to speak their language as kids. Okay, so, and small talk is one of these cultural features, and I would like to talk about it, about the difficulties we face with it, and how it can actually help us for our general fluency. Okay, so I'm going to show you the presentation, and I need to push 3 buttons before we start. So just please let me know that everything is okay, because I hate this part. This is like my most terrible part. I don't like it. Okay, so I hope you can see it in a moment. It's loading. And we will start talking about the small talk. Okay, so everybody has heard this phrase, right? So, I mean, we all know, yeah, what we mean by the small talk. So the small talk, if we go to the dictionary, for example, the small talk, it is informal, friendly conversation about unimportant subjects. I love this definition. I have chosen it from all the dictionaries which I looked through. So why unimportant? I mean, So, and it's a learner's dictionary, by the way. I hope you use it because it has English definitions, and it can help you to improve with vocabulary significantly. Okay, so I disagree that the topics are unimportant. So the general topics which we talk about in small talk, yeah, so it's usually weather, it's usually, I don't know, sport or something like that. So in this case, please, right now, tell me and write to me, what do you think are the usual topics to talk about during the small talk? So this informal, friendly conversation about unimportant subjects. So I've already told you, everybody talks about weather. What else? So I know a lot of people discuss jobs, and maybe you have your favorites, or maybe you. Okay, so what are we usually talking about? So for me, the most logical thing is, well, to talk about where you are, to talk about the city where you are, and so on and so on. Yeah. Okay. Books, films, and food. Yeah, I like it very much. That's a wonderful topic to discuss. The life of celebrities, well, I'm not quite sure, but okay. So my favorite is traveling. Okay, I find it one of the safest topics to discuss, and everybody loves traveling these days, and why not discuss it in this friendly atmosphere? So what is the most important point we need to remember here? How it helps us. This conversation is informal. Informal means it's not scary. Okay, you don't lose anything. So as English learners, you can use it in your benefit, and you can practice, okay, to be sure that you have enough speaking skills for the topics which will be more important the next time. But from my point of view, these unimportant subjects, they actually form the basics for our communication, and they are really more meaningful and more important than many serious things which we discuss. And so students often ask me, especially, it depends on the culture. For example, we are Russian. I'm Russian, and I had a lot of Russian students and a lot of Slavic language students. So we don't have it as it is here. And they ask me, why should I talk to some people I don't know about the things which are not important? So they don't see the sense, because it is, again, I'm saying about the culture, it is not a part of their culture. Okay, but it gives you actually a lot of information about your partner, for example, and it can finish in very productive, and we can say very fruitful communication. Okay, so it really helps making contact. So if you are at the conference, these small conversations you talk to you have to random people, with random people, they will help you to find the person who you need, probably. Okay, so if you are on the plane, you could make unexpected acquaintance which you will use in your favor in the future. So you never know how it will finish. And secondly, it teaches you a lot of skills about human communication. I am talking about non-verbal communication. I'm talking about establishing the contact. You can watch the people, you can understand if they like the topic, if they don't like the topic, and like step by step, you are establishing trust. And I will be emphasizing this. Trust is also very important. And in the future, you can end up having some serious collaboration, I don't know, communication, whatever. So do you know this joke? We have it in Russian, for example, so that most deals are closed in the smoking room. I hope this sentence is clear. So it means people who smoke, okay, they go to the smoking room, they communicate on a daily basis about unimportant things. I promise, I am a smoker myself, but they exchange news the most effective way in the company. So I'm not trying to say you need to smoke. I am trying to say that you need to understand how this communication, usual simple communication, matters, and how it can help for your future practice, for your future business, for your future studies, whatever, if you are attentive enough. So we are slowly moving to the basic problems which people are facing, and the things which really we need to do to be effective with this, okay? So the first thing which causes trouble. So a lot of people read the articles. We have so many books about self-improvement, about self-efficiency, whatever. So yeah, where people say, okay, you need to smile, you need to be positive to everybody, you need to use this active listening techniques and all this stuff. You know, I don't believe in it. Being an English teacher, I can tell you from practice how difficult it is to do if you are not trained enough, if you don't have enough practice, and if you are not sincere, yes, if you are not honest with this. So if you use it in an awkward way, if you don't understand how to use it properly, actually it will spoil all the impression of you. So this is very important. Never try to be different from your usual self. If you want to make a personal transformation, for example, yeah, if you want to change from an introvert into an extrovert, I don't know why, but well, why not? It is possible. It takes time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes years, but you can change your personality, your temper, your habits. You can develop the skills and so on and so on. But the most productive way is to start with who you are. All the time, always. So it's very important. If you don't like smiling too much, don't put on this artificial smile on your face. It will not help. You will not be looking, I don't know, honest, you know? So this is very, very important. Of course, if you are rude, not nice person, maybe, yeah, maybe you need to think about how to improve yourself and how to become more communicative and open-minded, or maybe don't talk to people in this case, but always follow your line and always try to find what's comfortable for you, what is interesting for you, and what you can do with the personality which you have. And this will help you establish the connection with the people. And the second thing, which is red colored, and I will be like accenting on it so much. Listen. So people often think about what they want to say to other people instead of listening to what's going on. And in this case, we are losing so much in the conversation. So, and it very often happens to the English speaker, English learners. Yeah, so when you think your English is not good enough, you spend most of your energy, okay, on worrying about this. I mean, you keep talking to yourself, okay. You keep thinking about, I don't know, your wet palms and all this stuff. And really, first of all, you miss the name of the person. And it will not help, I promise. I mean, you don't know how to communicate to a person if you haven't heard their name, okay? So the second thing, you can miss some very important information, as I told you before, so you can use it in the future, right? So you need this information. And the third thing, so if you listen carefully, you can really organize the conversation. So you always react to what people say, not what you think. If you do that, okay, so you will be really productive because you will start connecting at some point, okay? You will stop making pauses because you will be listening to each other. Okay, so that's why my next advice, and this is very important, if you know how to use it, you will be really successful in communication overall. So you always answer the last thing you heard. You don't just talk about the topic in general. Okay, so I see this problem with many of my students when they hear my question, they start talking. I keep asking questions, but they don't change the line. And you know what's happening? So the communication is not happening. You know, I'm a teacher. When I'm talking to my students, of course I will be listening. Of course I will be following everything they were saying, and of course I will be trying to make this conversation work. But people will not do that, especially native speakers, because for them these things are automatic. They don't know it's difficult for you. They don't know you don't understand the cultural signs and the cultural language. So in this case, this is the rule how you check yourself in every communication you have. If you know what to say before the person stops talking, communication is not happening, really. So just listen to the end. Don't think about how you worry, or don't think about what you want to say. Think about it for a moment after the person has finished speaking. Okay? And from this, we are actually moving to the next problem, which, no, well, it's not, it's all one problem, and I don't want to call it a problem. We just need to know about it, and we need to learn it. So I'm now ready to answer this question. Why is small talk so hard for English learners? Okay, so this has something to do with a couple of points which are not directly connected to your level of English. So if you are not a beginner, well, come on, I can do small talk in my beginning Spanish. But in most cases, if you are not a beginner, okay, you know enough to make successful communication, to make successful small talk, and to make even serious conversations. So what is the problem? So the first one, of course, it is psychological. So we are all stressed about new people. Small talk is so stressful from my point of view, because it happens to random people, to many people, and we see most of these people for the first time. So I can tell you that this problem can be solved only through practice. I like to read the articles from different, from famous public speakers, from famous personas. Yeah, so I like to talk to people who are famous for their speaking skills, and so they all say the same. You will have, like, you will feel uncomfortable for the first, I don't know, 50 times. Okay, it's inevitable, and be prepared to have, I don't know, 10 shitty small talks. It's just a part of the game, but if you keep improving, it will be improving with you. So this is learned, and after a while, after some practice, you feel more confident about the people, and you like it. Actually, you start liking it. This is my experience. I used to hate small talk. Well, I feel comfortable about it. So in this case, yeah. Anyway, it is some random informal conversation. So not all small talks should be, I don't know, important. Not all small talks should be, I don't know, successful, maybe even. Okay, so just practice and always remember, okay, this is a new person, don't expect too much. But the second problem, which most of the English learners face from my point of view, so we, and I mean English learners, okay, so because I'm a language learner myself, I have been there too, so we are not used to asking questions. And so this is really true. Think about your language learning. So if you learn a language with the teacher, what happens? Every class, the teacher asks you questions, right? Okay, if you are, for example, learning the language yourself, okay, again, you find some native speaker who will start asking questions from you. Okay, but and you only learn how to answer, you only learn how to react, and your strongest skills are connected to with answering. So this is a part of the problem, so a little bit, and you need to pay attention to that, and you need to understand that any kind of communication, including small talk, including social interactions in the shops, in the banks, whatever, they will always be 50-50. Okay, 50% of time you are asking questions, 50% of time people are asking questions. So in this case, you need to be prepared for the situation when you will be asking a question. Okay, so you need to be sure that you know how to do it. And I would like to give you a couple of safe, so to say, safe techniques how to ask questions more easily, because, well, we do spend a lot of time with my students on that, and we talk a lot about it and we practice it a lot. So how to make sure that you ask the correct question and you didn't get stuck with all the grammar which is in your head and not practical enough. Okay, so what I recommend you to do. So one of the safest variants from my point of view, not only safest but also communicatively beneficial, because if you use tag questions, you are inviting people to communication. You are not just asking face to face, but you are expecting the answer. You are showing that you are attentive and polite, and this is also very important cultural thing for English native speakers. They do it a lot, and you will benefit much if you do it a lot too. Okay, so the tag questions, they're really easy for us in conversation. Why? Because we all can make sentences. I mean, making sentences is easy, isn't it? So to make a tag question, you take your sentences. Okay, so the first part of your question will be just a usual sentence. So I have chosen 5 sentences for our practice. So this is a very beautiful city. Okay, you have been here before. The meeting was quite harsh today. Okay, harsh, like difficult, tough. Okay, you like it here. And it looks serious. So you see that all of these phrases can be used in different kinds of social interactions, in different kinds of small talk. For example, when you're visiting the city for a conference, when you're talking to new colleagues after some big meeting. If we talk about it looks serious, probably you could say it in some transportation situation. Yeah, maybe you got stuck in a traffic jam or something, or we don't want it to happen, of course, some traveling problem or whatever. So you already have your sentence, you already have made it. And remember that small talk is really very easy conversation, so you don't need to demonstrate all your grammar knowledge in it. Okay, so it's really easy. So in this case, I have made the simple sentences, and what are we going to do next? So we all have here our auxiliary verbs. Yeah, is, have, was, do, does for present and past simple, which which we don't show in positive sentences, but we all know how present simple works. And what we do, we just add the tag. Yeah, so this is a very beautiful city, isn't it? Okay, so, and just the intonation. So the second part, you just raise your intonation to make a question. So it's really easy. Sentence plus this small question, so question tag. Okay, you have been here before, haven't you? Okay, so, and I want you right now, guys, to repeat after me. Let's practice a little bit. Let's speak, because we are learning how to speak here. Okay, so the meeting was quite harsh today, wasn't it? Okay, please repeat. And please repeat out loud. I hope you are not on transport or on something like that. So you like it here, don't you? Okay, so I will not be using do, of course, here. And it looks serious, doesn't it? Okay, and this is it. So you just used a regular sentence, which you can do, yeah, and you add the tag using the auxiliary from your main sentence. Okay, so for example, and like we remember this principle, of course, yeah? So the tag questions principle, how we call it. So positive sentence has a negative tag, yeah? And I call it the principle of the battery. You remember, yeah? Plus, minus, minus, plus. So if your sentence is negative, okay, so your tag should be positive. Okay, so I will repeat it again. The tag questions are extremely popular, sorry, among the native speakers of English language. And if you use them, you demonstrate very open communication attitude. And I keep saying it to my students, just use the tag questions, but they don't. Okay, so but you should. It does help in communication. I have tried it myself, and I like to use it in small talk very much. Okay, so positive, negative, negative, positive. So let's have a look at the sentence. This is a very beautiful city, isn't it? My sentence is positive, so the tag will be negative. Okay, and again, please repeat after me when I am speaking. You need to say it out loud. If you know it in your brain, in your mind, it doesn't mean you can use it. It doesn't mean you can speak. Okay, so that's why it's very important to repeat. Okay, so you have been here before, haven't you? Again, I have a positive sentence and the negative tag. So let's do it vice versa. He has never been here before. Has he? Okay, so I have never in the sentence, so I use the positive tag. Okay, again, you are not a doctor, are you? Repeat, 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 repeat. Okay, okay. So it is grammatically easier than making a regular sentence, especially for present simple and past simple. So I hope you agree with me. And you can't use the tag questions like all the time, of course, 100% of time, no. But in many situations, they are very, very good to start the conversation. So you need to ask the first question, you need to break the awkward silence, okay? And you use it, and it usually helps a lot. Okay, so right now I would like to practice a little bit with you. So I want you to speak out loud, okay? So don't write it to me in the chat, just say it in, like, talk to me, well, talk to the computer, because I am in the computer. Okay, so make the tag questions from the sentences, and in a minute I will show you the correct answer. Okay, so look at the sentence and try to say the tag question right now. We all like traveling, don't we? Right? We all like traveling, don't we? So I hope everybody, I hope like all people right now are talking to their computer. So the next one, she's the new head of department. She's the new head of department, isn't she? Okay, so make it a little bit up in terms of intonation. Everybody will be there. Everybody will be there, won't they? I hope I got you here, like, yeah, so be careful. So will and will not, yeah, so it will be won't, and everybody, nobody, anybody. So we replace them with they. So repeat again, everybody will be there, won't they? Okay, so this is your first time here. Okay, if this is your first time here, isn't it? Okay. So this was an easy one, I hope. Okay, and the last one. You would never think time flies so fast. Okay, so you could do it two ways. I don't know which way you did it. So I push, I don't know, I put the accent on the second part of the sentence. So you would never think time flies so fast, doesn't it? So this is a very good question when you talk about children, when you talk about growing up, I don't know, finishing, and so on and so on. So it's better, it's always better to ask the tag question from the second part. Okay, so yes, tag questions are highly recommended, and they are very productive, they are very contact establishing, if you like, and they are easier to make, and I have seen it on the lessons with my students. Just don't forget that they exist and try to use them. Okay, and the second way, which you can also use, and this one is actually even easier, so I also recommend to use indirect questions instead of direct questions. So what I mean that you start your question with some introductory phrases, phrase like, do you know? Okay, any idea? Okay, so the first two phrases which you see and which I've just quoted, they're perfect for small talk. The rest of the phrases which you will use for indirect questions, they're also good, but they can be used in different situations. For example, could you tell me? It will be a great thing to start the conversation if you want some help, for example, in the street or something like that. Please tell me. It will be an informal phrase which is better to use with friends and I don't know, acquaintances. I was wondering is very polite, formal. Formal form for the indirect question in the formal context, if you talk with older people or in business context or something like that. So these are the things which help you to make these indirect questions. So you start with this and you just add this sentence. Remember that in indirect questions we don't change the word order, okay, in the second part, and that's why they are so easy to use as questions. So I will say, do you know where it is? Okay, any idea how long this meeting will last? Okay, do you know when we will land? Okay, and any idea how it works? Okay, so it is so straightforward. It is so easy that I don't even really know what to practice here. So just don't forget that you can always ask an indirect question. And again, it will show your cultural ability, I can say, because they are very polite. They are used for polite conversations, and also it will help you forget about grammar, not to worry about the word order, and so on and so on. So just this straightforward direct word order. Okay, so this is about questions, but like these are like small, I don't know, a couple of secrets you could try to use between the usual things, and it helps me, for example, a lot. It helps my students a lot, so I hope it is useful. And anyway, yeah, practice makes perfect. Don't forget that nothing can be done from the first attempt. So language is a skill, and it needs building, so it requires some time for you to I don't know, to make the connections, to make these neural connections in your brain so that you can do to confidently speak and connect the phrases together and so on and so on. So in this case, what kind of help I can offer here, because I have been trying to find different ways of practical English learning, differently from what we've got, because right now on the internet everything is so available. I mean, you can find any grammar information, any vocabulary information, but how we learn speaking. So most of the people come to me with this question, Dasha, how can I learn to speak? So I would like to inform you that I am trying I'm opening 2 projects starting the new year, okay? So, and this is online groups, which I will be teaching with the help of the Zoom application. It's very good application for this type of activity. I don't know if you've heard, but anyway, I can tell you more about it. So first of all, it is quite stable in the terms of connection, and then it gives us opportunities to practice in different combinations, to to collect people together and to get people together, and we can use this for groups. And I'm very happy. I've been testing this thing for several months, and now I'm very, very satisfied, and I'm very happy that I can invite people to join my projects. So the first one will be working we already have one group, and we will be adding some groups. So it is the online English exchange group. So it is just for speaking practice. I am not controlling much there. So I mean that people just meet once a week for an hour. In the present version, we will see what we can do about it in the future. So we just talk. Okay, so we just have a topic. And I am planning to open 2 more groups, low, intermediate, and advanced, because advanced speakers, they need to increase their fluency too. So it will be working on a regular basis. I only just follow. So I help with vocabulary, but mostly the participants host the meetings themselves, and they find the topics which are very, very interesting. So this is informal, not much, how to say, teacher authority, but like you get this unique opportunity to practice and to improve your speaking skills for practice. And the second group, which will be opening in January, so it is the communication course. It will be a small group. I will only take 6 people just for this first group. And again, it will be happening 1 time a week, but I'm planning to make 2-hour classes once a week. It will be only one low intermediate level, and the group will work for 3 months, and it will be a full course of communication skills. So it will be a little bit different, because there I will be teaching how to communicate. We will be learning a lot of introductory phrases, how to connect the words together. We will be working on vocabulary. We will be practicing listening skills. I will be telling why it's very hard to listen to the native speakers and how to improve that. So it will be 12 classes where I will tell you about all the communication secrets. And the second hour of every class will be, again, the controlled speaking practice, where you talk to each other, and then I give you the feedback. You will be receiving the feedback after every class. So it will be the written one, and I will be showing you how you can improve your vocabulary, what you need to do with your accuracy. So it will be this full communication course. The first of its own, I don't know, so much directed to speaking. So I don't know so many courses like that. So if you are interested, I will be sending you the information in the letter after the webinar. And of course, I am inviting everybody to join. Okay, and of course, this is how we will be working with this, and I've just demonstrated one of the types of the work which I'm planning to introduce in these communication groups. Okay, so I am done for today, and I'm very, very sorry, but I think we will be a little bit late with the questions. I mean that I can see your questions with 2 seconds probably. So if you want to ask me something right now, so please write in the chat, and I will try to answer your questions. So we have a couple of minutes, and if you want to contact me, of course, use the email address, or I hope you are following the Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. So I'm quite active online, and of course you can ask me anything after these 2. So I am again trying to get back to you. Okay, so it looks like we don't have technical difficulties. So any questions you want to ask me right now? I'm here, waiting. So I hope I can see the chat well. Okay, no questions? I mean, technically, technically it all should be done by now. Okay, so anyway, I will be sending you information, and please let me know if you know if you need the slides from this presentation. And thank you very much for listening. Contact me in case of any questions, and it was very interesting to talk to you today, and thank you very much. So have a nice evening, everybody.